Business not to for just make money. Now the engine where they push the economy go before. From that businessman who will make them for sales to that entrepreneur where they do massive innovation where they shape the country in future. Kushe and Kabo now the big market. Also where they talk about business and how for make business go and change real life. Every week we get for the talk about the things that where they happen at the market, things that like waiting government they do, and how in they affect price, profits, and other things there, and we own self life. Small business or big business or manufacturer or investor or farmer or all get for the inside the big market talk. So sit down, open ears, listen, and join we participate every Tuesday 5 p.m. na True Talk Radio 98.5 FM. Also with the build to run business for strong country. Business not to for just make money. Now the engine where they push the economy go before. From that businessman who will make them for sales to that entrepreneur where they do massive innovation where they shape the country in future. Kushe and Kabo now the big market. Also where they talk about business and how for make business go and change real life. Every week we get for the talk about the things that where they happen at the market, things that like waiting government they do, and how in they affect price, profits, and other things there, and we own self life. Small business or big business or manufacturer or investor or farmer or all get for the inside the big market talk. So sit down, open ears, listen, and join we participate every Tuesday 5 p.m. na True Talk Radio 98.5 FM. Also with the build to run business for strong country. Business not to for just make money. Now the engine where they push the economy go before. From that businessman who will make them for sales to that entrepreneur where they do massive innovation where they shape the country in future. Kushe and Kabo now the big market. Also where they talk about business and how for make business go and change real life. Every week we get for the talk about the things that where they happen at the market, things that like waiting government they do, and how in they affect price, profits, and other things there, and we own self life. Small business or big business or manufacturer or investor or farmer or all get for the inside the big market talk. So sit down, open ears, listen, and join we participate every Tuesday 5 p.m. na True Talk Radio 98.5 FM. Also with the build to run business for strong country. Business not to for just make money. Now the engine where they push the economy go before. From that businessman who will make them for sales to that entrepreneur where they do massive innovation where they shape the country in future. Kushe and Kabo now the big market. Also where they talk about business and how for make business go and change real life. Every week we get for the talk about the things that where they happen at the market, things that like waiting government they do, and how in they affect price, profits, and other things there, and we own self life. Small business or big business or manufacturer or investor or farmer or all get for the inside the big market talk. So sit down, open ears, listen, and join we participate every Tuesday 5 p.m. na True Talk Radio 98.5 FM. Also with the build to run business for strong country. Business not to for just make money. Now the engine where they push the economy go before. From that businessman who will make them for sales to that entrepreneur where they do massive innovation where they shape the country in future. Kushe and Kabo now the big market. Also where they talk about business and how for make business go and change real life. Every week we get for the talk about the things that where they happen at the market, things that like waiting government they do, and how in they affect price, profits, and other things there, and we own self life. Small business or big business or manufacturer or investor or farmer or all get for the inside the big market talk. So sit down, open ears, listen, and join we participate every Tuesday 5 p.m. na True Talk Radio 98.5 FM. Also with the build to run business for strong country.
Famble, Cabo and Kushe, welcome to the Big Market Show. As usual, today na Tuesday 5 p.m., the 2nd of September, we dey carry with the Big Market Show, where they talk about the private sector and everything where they happen at the private sector. from the small business people to the big importers, to the foreign direct investors. We want talk about all waiting they happen at this sector and how business they help we grow as individuals and how it will help the economy grow and the country develop. So relax. Stay with me for the next 1 hour. We can talk about today's topic. And today's topic can for do with the state of the private sector, the opportunities and the challenges. We want for understand how the private sector dey right now. Wetin dey happen there? Wetin are some of the challenges that we dey face? And wetin are the opportunities we dey face? We dey for make people grow their business. And for help me who dey bring the program to na me na Melvin Foray. And for help me talk about this today, I get one big allergy on the private sector where he go introduce himself.
Okay, so good afternoon. My name is Raphael Mara, and I done in private sector development for a couple of years. People know me for Business Digest newspaper, so I'm the owner and managing editor of Business Digest newspaper, but also I'm the founder of Raphael and Associates. We're a marketing firm where they into private sector development, but also I'm the managing editor for the Business Quarterly magazine where they publish on the private sector for every quarter. So happy for meet with you and thank you for having me.
Thank you, Raphael. Welcome to the studio, the Two Talk. So, Fumble them. If you get questions or comments throughout this program, you can join me and send them to 072 641 729. I will repeat the number again, 072 641 729. Same way, so you go join me live on Facebook, on Two Talk Radio 98.5 FM, and on YouTube, where you go send your comments or questions, where you go while we answer. So relax and stay with me for the next 1 hour for let we talk about what's in the happen at the big market.
Business not to for just make money. Now the engine where they push the economy go before. From that businessman who will make them for sales to that entrepreneur where they do massive innovation where they shape the country in future. Kushe and Kabo now the big market. Osai where they talk about business and how for make business go and change real life. Every week we get for the talk about the things that where they happen at the market, things that like waiting government they do and how in the affect price, profits and other things there and we own safe life. Small business or big business or manufacturer or investor or farmer or all get for the inside the big market talk. So sit down, open ears, listen and join we participate every Tuesday 5 p.m. na True Talk Radio 98.5 FM. Also with the build strong business for strong country.
Welcome back, family. So, like I say, the topic today is the state of the private sector. Waiting at the challenges that we then face and whose opportunities then they follow will grow. But as usual, we know they go direct to this topic. We want to get the news. Waiting they happen inside the big market and how it affects the private sector.
Inside the big market news we get for owner. The Finance Minister Sheikh Ahmed Fantamadi Bangura talk say Salon be export minerals way worth about $1.5 billion, but only $60 million be recorded inside the National Treasury. These reports don't make people worry about transparency and accountability for the mining sector. The National Revenue Authority, NRA, don't say the rollout for Salon in minimum alternate tax don't they gain momentum. And then they expect say the full impact go begin show inside 2026. This new tax go set 2% of business turnover for make sure say all company they pay fair tax. According to the NRA commissioner, this reform na part of government in big plan for raise more revenue inside the country and reduce how we dey depend per outside support. With other tax reform them, including harmonized corporate tax and new excise duty, the government the target for collect about 2.6% of GDP extra revenue by 2027. Tropical General Investment Group (TGI) don't become official premier partner for the Intra-African Trade Fair 2025, we go happen na Algeria from September 4 to 10, 2025. This partnership show say Tropical General Investment Group want boost investment across Africa.
That's not the brief news where they happen at the market. Now to the topic proper. Salon economy don't come off far from challenges during COVID to redomination. And last year, it be projected for go beyond 4%, but we economy only grew by 4%. Compared to 2023, it may grow by 5.7%. That means we economy may drop in 2024. However, this year, the experts then say, well, the economy might go up to 4.6% and 4.7 in 2025, and then 4.7 in 2026. Also, we know so we don't redominate. We get with new loans. All that they don't affect the economy, get an effect on the economy. We also experience sharp increase in inflation in 2023, up to 57%. However, that they don't reduce in 2023 to 13%, in 2024 to 13%, and now government reports say we in single digits between 5 and 7% as of June 2025. All this look good, but everything not okay in terms of the big macroeconomic facts. Government still overborrow. The growth still small for cater for employment, enough employment for all man. And that growth we see largely led by the mining sector. Although agriculture accounts for the majority of with GDP, over 50% of with GDP, and also the majority of employment in the salon, it's still not a grow as fast as the mining sector. The services sector and other sectors themselves they try. So Raphael, with this background, what do you think say now the state of the private sector currently inside this economy? As the private sector now the key driver of the economy. Yes, we know say the government gets a role for play, but right now the private sector now the key driver of the economy. And this now the current state to the inflation they go down, dollar looks stabilized. This now ripe opportunity for private sector growth. But it really, all the economic changes here really they affect the private sector players. What thing are you take on the general state of the private sector?
Yeah, so thank you so much, Melvin, for that vivid and detailed background. Maybe before we fumble the word out there, for let them get maybe an understanding of the background of what's really they happen around the private sector as it is. Fumble them. Private sector nada component we not get for do with donor funds and not get for do with public funds. That means na private people them, na private action, na in the steeram for growth. And so now I will come to the question as to what thing they happen within the private sector as far as Sierra Leone is concerned. And I would say it's a mix of positives but also of negatives. So I not go sit down here and talk say everything where they happen within the private sector, it's the negative. No, there are positive things that are happening. You just highlighted that there is a single-digit inflation, and it is true, 7.6% as we speak. Now, with a single-digit inflation, that's a very good news for the private sector. So things are happening, but of course there are challenges. You know, when you talk about infrastructure, every private sector needs infrastructure. Waiting they happen within the infrastructural space. Me and you know a couple of months back how even Freetown, let alone rural communities, how when they go through difficulties, forget energy, forget light. Now, without electricity, there is a problem with the private sector. So that could be a pointer of the difficulties or the challenges them or waiting they obtain at the private sector as we speak. As we speak, it is the informal sector that is dominant. What do we mean by the informal sector? They're not private sector, but they are not formalized. You know, in other parts of the world, they call them stock fells. You know, they call them fuller shop. You know, that person where they sell that stuff by the wayside. That person where they sell milk and Ovaltine, we're not formal. Research proves say they are about 80% of the private sector. Now they make up of 80% of the private sector. So those are some of the negativities, because if they are not registered, we do not have the data. Data not there. Who gives an unregistered business a loan? How they go work at the bank and access loan?
Okay, Raphael.
You know, so those are some of the challenges. Yeah.
Okay, thank you. And so that's where the private sector is.
Currently, yes.
Currently is. I want to talk small about this inflation, because we dey talk say this inflation don't can down. But the average Australian go say it may affect imports, as in price they no can down. Where then they talk about inflation they can down, within economists and Kimi, what they really mean, and why they get immediate direct effect on the price of goods or on the average person imports.
Thank you so much, Melvin, for that question. In fact, you rightly say an immediate benefit. And with all fairness to we within the private sector, when there is a downward trend in inflation, that means the inflation, they go fine, it look good. For the average business, it got to take time for let that reflect. So that make you not go see that reflect na mami fatu import right now. But that does not mean something is not happening. Yeah. So when there is a downward trend in inflation, or let's say the inflation they go down, now good news. If maybe don't get me 40 feet container too, I don't go buy Pampers, I don't count an salon. I buy them 6 months ago. Remember, there was an inflation of, by then I think it was at 11% inflation. Remember, say when I been go change me dollar, there was a connection with that buy what go buy, that me 240 feet container and count and as alone. So if the inflation go down overnight, not mean say they put price down overnight, because there is a unit cost why we don't incur, why buy me Pampers and put her inside the container and come. So that it not mean say things are not happening, but it go get for affect the private sector, it get for affect the mami fatu import, but in a gradual process. But for every private sector actor or player, when there is a downward trend in inflation, that's good news, because that tells on the forex, that tells on foreign exchange, and that tells on prices of commodities as well.
All right, thank you, Raphael. You don't make it simple for family. So we already know also they say the price of the thing not go down yet, price of goods and not go down yet. The reason is because they report what they happen now, but they take time for it affect the importer or the businessman when we don't make in price 6 months ago, when we don't go buy in goods 6 months ago. So because of that, it will take time. And also, inflation really, then they compare the price last year, how it go fast, plus how the price did now this year, and how it grow. Whether now year on year or month on month, then they compare them to them. So it will take a time for let it affect the pot. But like Raphael say, now good thing for the sector, because it help the private sector players for plan.
Yes.
It help the private sector players for able adjust their own price and make profits. So they're able to predict the economic output, and also they increase demand from the households. Then, all right, Raphael. Now we don't talk general, but while we talk specific about SMEs and startups. How you see the landscape for SME development na Salone, and you know this new world, startups, we get young people and they get into business, SME na startups. How you see the landscape right now?
Okay, so thank you again for that question. So you see SME development now one big thing, and I see, well, over the last decade or two, it don't become popular. We don't say entrepreneurship. We all, you know, a lot of people want for be entrepreneurs, and it's a good thing for the economy for obvious reasons. The private sector not will ever employ the total number of people they look for job. So if one SME employ 4, you know, times 1,000 SME, you know what the figures are, you know. So it's a good thing. But again, there are challenges for the average SME. And I will list a number of challenges. For example, access to finance, now a challenge for the average SME, na Sierra Leone. Yeah, the interest rates now, they range between 26% to 33%. Now, for that average SME, we'll get a few thousand leones now in bank account, and a want for access loan, that is instant murder when you go and take 33% loan. But again, who that they would go take this loan to? Not to banks. And banks are an integral part of the private sector. So when I talk for SMEs, I will talk for the banks as well. Now, the cost of operation of running banks, that's alone, is very expensive. So that is why you go hear about 33%, but you know go hear, for example, now in a country like maybe Kenya, for example, because when the bank open from 7 o'clock, in fact, not from 7 o'clock, even at night, because of security, you get for run that gen. That is a cost. Because there is no electricity, for example, if there is no electricity. But the bottom line is, when SMEs they establish, access to finance now a fundamental problem, na Salone. How do they get the finance? Well, the case becomes serious when we talk of agriculture because of the risks that are associated with agriculture.
I mean, just one going to agribusiness.
Oh, okay.
How the state day of agribusiness, agricultural sector, and how generally you see them.
Yeah, so I just been the touch on. I'm not knowing you have a question on that. So, for example, SMEs that are into agribusiness, the banks they shy away from you. So if you get for go plant corn, for example, 30-acre corn, we get a very big impact on for example, poultry feed, na Salone. SMEs like that, we want for plant 30 acres or I don't know. How do they get funds when there is something like climate change? Overnight, all of them they can be dead. So because of that, the bankers know this, and so they are risk averse. They no one for do business with agricultural lending. Yeah, so those are some of the other challenges then.
Yeah,
in the agribusiness sector as well.
And you don't touch on something very critical.
Yes.
So in this, where me then at the sector or where me then at the banking industry, now one of the things that they will me really shy away from, like how you touch on them, the risk of lending to the agricultural sector. Some people can say currently very few or even very few financial institutions, they actually give agricultural loans as per the true sense of the agricultural loans, because the sector not really reach that level 8 where it ensure the risk of the bank. Now bonically one no more the bank they do, it give you money.
Yes.
If you go put a like you say you go put on at the farm, then the yield not amount to the amount where you pay back the bank. The bank they face a significant risk, and you don't know what they come on at the soil. So in other parts of the world, then they do what they call agricultural insurance, where they go insure input or output, and then they go give the bank some comfort. Say, okay, yes, if I lend this person at the agriculture, if I lend this agriculture is this farmer this amount of money. If the plant not grow, I will get me money back. If through the insurance company.
Yes.
But currently, government they try, or there are some drives in the sector for CAWUT's agricultural insurance and CAWUT's a new type of agribusiness finance. Because currently, waiting most of the banks they do now for finance agribusiness traders. So those who are trading in agricultural commodities,
yes,
and not necessarily production at the field level, at the farm level, and it's critical. All right, that's a good one. I mean, while we go specifically in some of the challenges you may talk, I really want to deep dive on formalization and the informal sector.
Yes.
I remember I read a couple of research, two research specifically, the one from Statistics Sierra Leone and the other from Ministry of Finance. They may do some survey on SMEs, businesses. Okay, you get the, for statistics, it was generally all businesses in Sierra Leone. About 1,000, 100 and, about 150,000 businesses. Of that, like you note in the in the beginning, say of that 80% were informal sector.
Yes.
We are in the informal sector. They were traders, but they don't register. This latest one in 2024 by Ministry of Finance, then do about 1,300. Even at that as well, 60% were not formally registered with an institution, a formal institution, while 32% register with district councils, with the councils then. Why? The question is, why this huge number of people in business sector, why they need to formalize? Why? Because, like how you note, if you don't register, you need you cannot be counted. Nobody need to count you. If you don't register, you need to get facilities. You need to get opportunities. You will find it difficult to access there. So waiting at the issue there, I want to expand on them and build and talk more about this formalization and why it's important. For let first, the first part, and for let businesses formalize. But you get then we'll talk about them challenges. So I want to talk about them small.
Okay, thank you so much again for that. So businesses them they shy away from formalizing, or let's say for register your business. I mean for become a legal like entity, then they shy away from register their business. As it is currently in one of the latest reports I read, I cannot remember where it was. It's only 1.5% of businesses that are registered as limited liability company.
Yes.
Yeah, 1 point something percent.
1%.
Yeah, one.
Of that 100
Exactly. You know, so but then as you they ask, now the right questions that you ask, why is it that businesses are not registering? So the question go be what's in the drive, what's in the motivation, and what's in the fear? Now, doing business in Sierra Leone, again, I go always say it is not all negative. But I will tell you for a fact, what's in the process it take for register your business? What if let's say you want for register in a corporate affairs, what are some of the processes and the forms and the everything what you need for filling for make sure this business is registered? Businesses then they shy away from that. What are the costs of formalization? Yeah. What are the cost what it take for make you formalize this business? So most of the time people they ask SMEs the one they deal with, then go ask say, hey, but if I didn't mean little corner, when there is no system who go trace me say I not register it for the next 1, 2, 3 years, why don't I just sit in my little corner? Why I not go just then I'm a little corner and they do me business and not register at all, which is not a good thing, and not a good thing at all. But then again, it goes back to, for example, the public sector. What are the systems them where they in place for ensure that businesses are registered with less hassle? So now one of the challenges then, if I for answer you, why businesses they need to register? If they not see the motivation behind why for register. But then again, it's an issue of awareness. Yeah, because for example, you know, there is what we call investment readiness. If you want to go down a bank and access funds, if you are not registered, you're not going to get fund. That's not the criteria number one. You're not registered. Yeah. So for now an issue of awareness raising. How do we get businesses for understand? Say, when you are registered or when you are formalized, now an aspect of investment readiness. That means they make you, or government they make you ready now for let somebody put money into you. No private investor no will come and want for invest in you, but you not get no form of legality. Yeah, but so people don't know this. So because they don't know this, so then just sit down and say, Then one morning now, then say, oh, I need loan. Na Lapo. Then go now to Lapo, for example. I'm just making an example. Then the organization tell them, say, no, because you not register, we're not able to deal with you. So it's an issue for round them up, an issue of drive. What's the drive? What's the motivation? What is in it for me? But also there are fears. When we take off all of them things, then the people will begin for become formalized and register their businesses.
Thank you very much. Family will begin wonder why we the sort of now or they talk more about SMEs, the informal sector, and this, and why would they focus on them? The reason that because the private sector currently, 80% of them are in the informal sector, driven largely by agriculture and services. So, whilst the 20% they help and grow the economy, if we want to get a significant change in the economy, if we want able to grow and expand the economy, we need to talk about that informal sector. So, as Rafael made say, waiting at the drive for formalization. Why people afraid for formalize? Waiting at the obstacles. Okay, some people, like you say, some people go say the process for register is too long, it's too formal, and some man no go book, so they're not able to do them. Some people go say, hey, no, they will go register because they will pay tax. Yes, when you register, you pay tax, but it don't mean that the benefit them also far outweigh the cost for register. Other people they come outside of the country, they can't salon, quickly register their business. As you begin no more, their business don't begin grow simply because they formalize. And that's why a critical follow we talk about formalization. But tied to that, the other thing about formalization for me, Raphael, now this issue of centralizing the registration process, the formalization process. As now research show, yes, currently council registrations are recognized in some locations, but the formal registration document required is from the CAC or now where they don't put under National
NIB,
Investment
yes.
Board, the CAC and ROCC, Office of the Registrar General,
General, yeah.
where they now all that they now under NIB.
Yeah.
Now that's not the formal process, but most people up the provinces they say we don't get time for camp or go na them place 10 days, so then they register them. You don't think say that they cause confusion?
Yes, well, in fact, not just confusion it a cause, but it's an issue of convenience. If I do business na Pujaun, be in one village na Pujaun, why make everything what they do, me family, me everything na Pujaun you day? Why make a for kind of Freetown for can register me business? So it's an issue of convenience, and that's all of that na part of the doing business. You know, let's say doing business in Sierra Leone.
Yeah.
The ease of doing business in Sierra Leone. So decentralization, I think, a key thing will happen.
Okay.
Yeah, we think now that of course a lot of fantastic things they will happen within the National Investment Board this short time where it don't be created, and it's an advantage again for businesses because now it becomes now a one-stop shop.
Yeah.
You go there and you done everything. We're a very good achievement for private sector development now the country. Okay. Yeah? However, decentralization need for be taken into consideration as well. We can still get all of the things that would happen na NIB na ya, de na Pujaun, de na Bo, de na Makeni, for example, so that nobody no need for come off Makeni for just can register business.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, Raphael, thank you very much. We get Boku thing the more for talk about going forward. But now we hold and so forth as part of family until you are aware as part of this program, will spotlight Sierra Leonean entrepreneurs, Sierra Leonean businesses, will they thrive and contribute to the private sector and growth? Will they try and contribute to economic growth and development? So while we pause here a bit and go and talk with one Sierra Leonean business and see how it contributes to the private sector growth and the economy.
Today we return with spotlight to Roof Garden Bar and Restaurant within a Wilkins Road, na Freetown, as one example of how the private sector to push the economy go before. Roof Garden then they contribute in different form, from job creation to culture promotion and even tourism attraction. Over the years, Roof Garden are in operation, starting from one coal pot to the standard place where we all know today. For sake of this, We can at the spot for talk with the acting CEO and the manager for understand how they don't reach this level, waiting a bit in journey, and waiting at some of the constraints.
Me na Fatima Ablel, the acting CEO of Roof Garden Restaurants.
Abraham Thomas Bangura, General Manager of Garden.
Well, 9 years ago, we decided to open a gift shop up na the roof. But this gift shop no go through because the mommy we get the restaurant sabi cook. So it begin to make food then because na possible like people there, different type of food then. But the people there they can instead of that they concentrate by the gifts, they concentrate by the food where they make. So some people they count some idea and say, oh, why you not concentrate on food? You sabi make food and we think say you go count more profits than the gift shop. So if you don't go Ivory Coast years back, you don't see how they make this acheke. So now you make her one day, we all fall in love with the acheke. So now I say, well, let's try for make this acheke. So we'll try and first with English chicken, fish, goats, and other things there. After 9 I say, well, this food limited. Try other thing. Now try fried rice. So now so we begin make this acheke and fried rice and all other things there. Well, the name now be up the roof. We be planned for open this gift shop. And I possibly like plants, if we live in plants there, and I possibly they take care and nurture like them kind of thing and they. And also if we get one cafe in London we like for going in Roof Garden. So if fall in love with that name there.
Okay. As the CEO talk, the business starts small. Starts very small. The Mamiki always talk say it starts out one cool pot. They like today get a kitchen, they get up to 15 to 20 staff. So we say God thank you for the success so far. Because Roof Garden now a household name, not to just few people name. Due to the success, due to the way how they make with food, how good the food is, we named it all over. Not just salon, they named it all over. If you can do it in December, you will see. Not just the Canada strong when no one tastes Roof Garden at Cheke. So we tell God thank you for that. And some of the challenges them like we can say, when you make food, you get to be very careful of what you do. Understand some of the challenge, the food stuff, or to go buy in the market. So now some of the challenge, some things they say okay, want to enable get them. Pass on till we supply, they say they go Guinea for go get food stuff. So now some of the challenge. And then the other challenge, the taxes. The taxes too much per week. Imagine they pay so many tax, oh they buy stock, then we get we own in-house tax they will they pay, which too much. And now some of the challenges there and there. When you self come, you see Roof Garden how we did. From the CEO, imagine look how many the CEO they rapport. We are like a family. You understand? Most of the things them we make keep winning are because the mommy we get in business, it take we like young picking them. So if you see we all are like a family. And the mommy they pay we very well. And we get all the benefits them where we enjoy in our Roof Garden. You understand? We get a medical facility, we get housing, because you know we'll say I will give you all. But when you come through, it help. And then the staffing, they are well paid and they are well taken care of. Roof Garden get a total staff of 10. Then we get few other people where up to 20 where they come for training from various vocational institutes. And even the way that they come for can do their working experience, we need just left them so. We get to take home, they give them every month where they go with, and then for the service where they render. The first thing I would say are the tax too much. The government no get away out for like reduce, especially this now a sole proprietor business, a small business. If imagine we get so many staff, and like I tell you, the mommy where you get God heart and then sorry heart. If you continue to impose more tax by the mommy, they go lay off staff, and you don't want that. And nobody know they run business for loss. They want to do business. And that little, it go squeeze for ensure staff that gets them salary and other allowances there, just for meet the demand. You understand? So if the government watch the taxation and try to reduce some of this tax, maybe it go help.
Well, like I they say, the staff they always get staff discounts per food. Like normal price where you outside go buy, then they buy so if then kind they get 50% off. So now some of them facilities there. And also, if we cut down staff there, it will affect even governments, because a lot of job loss, and then it will add per the percentage of job loss in the country.
Yeah.
And the homes then will suffer, because they're all now family people, they will get them family and all of that. And tax really they kill the business, because they pay NASI to pay NRA, and NRA get a lot of other tax. Not even from the seller and the buyer. They will get for pay from GST machine, will get for pay tax, different tax there. So then they slow down the business. And right now we all know the rents, the business slow. So they go through a lot of constraints then. So they plead on the government for make them go work something out.
Well, firstly, one of the things where uphold roof garden, like how CEO talk from 9 years back, are God. Roof garden put God number one. And then 2, be good at what you do. You might start small. You might start with one, like how we self start with one coal pot. But because of what you do, you get passion for them, and you do them very well, you're dedicated, then at the end, you must succeed.
And also, some people then they become offended where customers they complain. We not to that kind of person there. So as a business owner, you get to be open to criticism, because some people then go criticize when actually true. Because everybody now human. Sometimes they will go make mistake, although they try for keep the standard of the place. But when you make mistake, then people then criticize you. They try for work on and then become offended or waiting. And customer service can number one. So we will take every customer and complain serious.
Business not for just make money. Now the engine where they push the economy go before. From that businessman who will make them for sales to that entrepreneur where they do massive innovation, where they shape the country in future. Kushe and Cabo now the big market. Also where they talk about business and how for make business go and change real life. Every week, we get for the talk about the things that where they happen at the market, things that like waiting government they do, and how in they affect price, profits, and other things there, and we own safe life. Small business or big business or manufacturer or investor or farmer or all get for the inside the big market talk. So sit down, open ears, listen, and join we participate every Tuesday 5 p.m. na True Talk Radio 98.5 FM. Also with the build strong business for strong country.
Come back. I guess when I enjoy that spotlight day, we all sabi roof garden. Now a small business we start small with one coal pot. Now you don't go and employ over 15, 20 Sierra who say then they gain experience and get reliable. Now this, when we talk about private sector development, this will mean when we talk about the private sector, now this will mean Sierra Leonean owned businesses able to start small and expand. I hope say we learn Boku from waiting they say and get small from their history. Now back to the topic. Raphael,
Yes.
one of the things that we the CEO of Roof Garden highlight now that taxation now a biggest challenge within they face, because it affects them in terms of paying salaries, in terms of doing business. How you see taxation they affect the private sector players and businesses? But remember, say before Raphael answer that question, remember say you can call on this number 0726411 1729 072641729 and make your own contribution and ask you questions. So Raphael, taxation, how will it affect businesses and how we need for what you need for do so that businesses go grow? Well, before Raphael answer that question,
Yeah.
I see somebody eager for ask and contribute to the program. Hello caller, waiting are your name and you can make your contribution.
This is not fully the corner Kabbalah.
Okay, Fode. Yes,
Hello?
Fode. Yes, Fode. What do you want to say? What do you want to say?
What you get for doing that country, we get to be honest to ourselves and tell ourselves the truth.
Okay.
Yeah. The brother sit down at the studio, they talk say inflation don't go to 7. Why it not reflect to the people in the markets? Hey, bro, inflation don't go to 7 digits. Okay, we don't accept. But why not they reflect to the dollar? Why not they reflect to the cost of living, transportation, freedom to Kabbalah? Freeton to Kenema, Freeton to Kaila, or Freeton to Kono. Ebo, I would like you yourself so now. So then today no correct. When I not tell myself two nine will last. Not to lie. Economics, you know they make fake banner. You know they disgrace you. To be honest.
All right.
Honest.
Okay.
We're for honest to yourself.
Okay, Fodi, we don't get your contribution.
Ebo, very hard trending, man.
All right, Fodi, we don't get your contribution.
You go bread butter, not all my bread butter.
Okay. All right, Fodi, we don't get your contribution. We want that you continue for listening to the program, and we brother Raphael will clarify and tell you why it means.
Me a regular listener to this program because I like the voice of Andrew Lavalley because now one of the man and line with the issue that I country they know they talk back. I like for listening.
All right. Okay. Thank you, Fodi. We go talk about what you just now raised out. So thank you very much. Raphael.
Yes.
Funny, like I ask the same question I may ask. Inflation, we say they go down. The economy, they sort of try for grow. But the average Australian, they feel like say they need to experience them. They need to affect the price. They need to affect the price of the transportation. So waiting at that issue. How you go best explain to Funny in kind say inflation, now this make you know they feel right now.
So Fode, I'll tell you thank you for that call if you listen, and I go still emphasize that inflation as we speak now 7.6%. Now going to why Fode it not affect you it go affect you but now it's time. Yeah, that's I think that the best way I go able for put time. I think I make an analogy. I don't know what's what I go use Pancreo. I make example Fode for say if you Fode when they talk to you, if you're not a businessman. You be don't buy, I don't know, you don't buy you Okada spare part them. You go buy them a Guinea. You count and 6 months ago. 4 day. That price where you go buy that Okada a part na Guinea. Now in you they continue for sell them. It not get nothing for do with inflation at that material time. Yeah? 4 day, you have to talk about fuel. You know how fuel they work. Not to not they work on the basis of the inflation as it is currently. So now that time I go explain to you, say you not go feel it now, but with time you go understand.
Okay. Thank you, Raphael. Make I add small thing per this talk. Inflation is a technical term. It compare how price me the last year to how price did this year on a specific date. If price me they go up last year, like how we all may experience where the dollar go come from 2023, where the dollar change go up to 23,000 because of the redenomination, all that in there. We all experience how all the price them they go up. Now market, rest go up and everything. But now, when they don't watch back na the market, they don't find out say the way it may go up last year, not to the same way it go up this year as at this month of say July. So now done it in a report. But it don't mean say that price where me don't fix, it don't go down go. It just means say it don't go up the way it may go up last year. And it's stable. Now, like Raphael say, the people where they go buy now, the situation where they now go affect them price whether they can price. Where if you go buy now so we expect say by December either the price don't go down like rest now they go down. They don't come out 1,000, they don't go 750. We expect say if for they go down and they go down because the economic situation they improve. You know how reach you it for the and we not they can say if for NASO or defend government or no. That's what that we want to do by this program. We just want to talk the reality and see how we can continue for improve on them. I hope say Danny go answer your question. And we all the pray say this inflation will not reduce to 5. It's still price still they go up, but I know they go up like I mean they jump from 1,000 to 3,000 before. It go up still, but maybe if you come out 1,000, you go 1,100 leons, or you go 1,200 leons before you reach 1,500 leons. So I want let you take that in, and that they mean by inflation. But we will address inflation and other issues later in the program. These are just a general overview of the private sector. Raphael, I may ask this question on taxation. Tax gets for any tax na any of one of the things that would affect even the price of the businessman. We go make something if inflation go down, but tax stay up, price no go down still.
Yeah, so that day will not go shy away from taxes get an implication in business and also private sector. But Mickey always talk say, I can always talk say taxes na like medicine. That medicine what you need for drink for make you well. Now, so for private sector, then they even they work for we more. Now, we all want infrastructural development so that private sector will go before, so that private sector will advance. Now, if we want that, then taxes have to be paid. You don't see Naimeka say if you buy bitter medicine, what we need for swallow for make we well. So, but of course there is a direct implication on taxation, increasing price, and even private sector development. There is. Then nobody no go able for denying that. But again, you go back to the private sector person like me and ask, would I rather have a little bit of increase in my taxes but get electricity 24 hours? And I go say yes. Because when we get the electricity 24 hours, I go do a whole lot of things with that increase in taxation. So let me always talk when I get opportunity for talk to private sector actors that taxation na a form of medicine. But then again, when it comes to Africa, that's where the problem is. How our taxes are being utilized. Yeah, how would they utilize with taxes? Because from 1960 to now, if our taxes were being utilized properly, we're not for the talk about electricity by now. We're not for the talk about good roads by now. When I have to go take me 10 truck cassava na bien kailang, I for just go at ease and in 2 hours, 3 hours, 4 hours, I don't count me cassava maybe na free tongue or na bow. So there is a whole lot of so that make you go find out say people they become defensive to taxation because if they don't see it benefiting them, then it becomes a problem.
All right, thank you, Raphael. So tax they really affect prices
Yes.
of business people, and they affect the ability for business people for grow. But now also a necessary thing because government need for invest in social goods and for lay infrastructure, the roads, the electricity, so the good parts are what you for aim for. Now forget a balance, a
Very
good
good.
balance between almost you dey tax the people, and so the tax will become a burden, but also government will get revenue for do well.
Yes.
All right, Raphael, we don't talk a lot about challenges. Access to finance have been one, but no left that day because every businessman gets a challenge with money and how for access money. We will talk about access to finance later in this program. And what do we go at? But the challenge is not more than the economy. What are the opportunities then? I want to think about that. But before that, let we go briefly. Let's see what happen at the market with market tips.
Last week we give market tips to buyers them. We go make the buy smart and know how for manage. Today market tips they go for owner the sellers them. We go help una sell smart and make profit inside the markets. 1. If you want for sell fast, not pin price. Because most buyer they pass around and compare price from different vendor before they make the decision. So if you set your own price high past your competitor, they go likely pass you and go buy to the way they sell reasonable. So not pin price by your market. 2. Keep your space clean and neat. Markets not the first impression. If you place clean and well arranged, buyer go prefer for buy to you. Nobody not go and buy from person way in space or table, not clean. 3. Be friendly to customers. As a seller, you first sabi encourage them, as that go attract them for always they buy to you. Learn for their smile and treat them fine. Even if they not buy today, tomorrow they go remember you. Number 4, no hide spoiled fish or rotten pepper under the company. If you sell good commodity, if you sell good product, buyer could trust you and always buy from you. 5, could they give small bonus at times? Sometimes give small leaf, add paddy pepper or yabas. Small thing and they make customer glad and become a loyal buyer to you. 6, build relationship with regular buyer. If person they buy from you every day, give a discount or sometimes credit, it will make them tied to you. 7, learn for them negotiate with respect. Even if buyer they beg for reduced price, handle them smart, no vex, but calculate well for still make profits. These are some of the market tips we bring for Una this week. Stay tuned as we go bring more inside the big markets next week.
All right, Fabo. We hope so you don't learn from that market tip today, so that you, the seller, you, the business person, will able to increase your sales, make more profit, and expand the economy for we. Raphael, we don't
Yes.
talk a lot about challenges. What are some of the opportunities here within the sector, at the private sector? Not just challenges, what's in the happen, and how business people, which opportunities business people for look forward to?
Yeah, so as you say, business people in now the true definition, or you for don't ready. Now in the statement or the word I use or the phrase I use just now, I say you for be investment ready. When you investment ready, then you're able to harness the many opportunities them within the country. Yeah, we see businesses them. For example, we don't see donor institutions them. They support the ecosystem is being built. Yeah, a whole lot of SMEs, for example, then they get capacity development training. These are all opportunities they work in harness because when your capacity is being built, then that is an aspect of investment readiness. Let us say you know you get proper books, you know they keep your books then correct. If you know they keep your books then correct now, then a certain international organization come and begin train you on how to keep your books. Take advantage of that. Yeah, that is an opportunity. Yeah, we don't deny also in the private sector where a whole multinational don't give very good amount of money to a certain private sector actor where they produce your bus. Now Yabas is almost next to nothing because of that private sector. But the private sector private sector actor, it been positioned himself properly. We make this international multinational actor being financed and give them money for do it and they do so. So investment readiness is key. There are opportunities. We get angel investors them with the all around the ecosystem as well. Ecosystem, I mean entrepreneurship or private sector development ecosystem is being built. But again, how will they take advantage of all of the opportunities that will they exist na the private sector space so that we take advantage of them?
All right, Raphael, thank you very much. The economy they expand. More people they can inside business. The population they grow. The lights don't it's still bad, but it don't they improve. We get more access to more locations in the country because then they do more bridges and more roads. All learning opportunities, business opportunity for you, the farmer, like Kabbalah, like Fodeso, for like a cow team, if you don't farm done, able drive selling products now to the market. Even though transportation costs and fear still up, all that population expansion and demand na the opportunities where we they talk about. You talk about economic ecosystem players.
Yes.
Then trainings them. Also government support. During COVID, we see bank or saloon help farmers or importers with certain amount of money. All these are opportunities. Government they do some other investments. You get other international private investors, they invest in the banks and in the microfinance institutions. Yeah. We see the rise of many microfinance institutions right now, and they are doing well.
Yeah.
All that's an opportunity for expand with businesses, and I hope say we people them go take good care of, take good take up for. I know say time the between, but now we'll touch briefly on something. When later I'll go focus on in this program, we get for do with business integrity, corruption, business inclusivity. How would they expand the market for include other players we already in at the market? Raphael, what do you think about business integrity and corruption? What's in the role of private sector for improve corruption and ensure say the private sector players they do business with high levels of integrity?
Yeah, so that's a very good one. Integrity and ethics, na a very good, na good things them way private sector actors them for inculcate, for get inside them so that because they push business in a lot of ways. But because most of the time now the very private sector we they kind of entice even the other actors them for maybe be corrupt, or we're not able to stand with ground because we're not ethical, or because we want to compete. Sometimes then they compete in very unethical ways, against we other maybe competitor. So ethics not a very good thing in private sector discourse, but also accountability, because we need for be the pace setters. Yeah. So for example, now you for clear you contain an water key, but now you first don't begin talk say because you day in a hurry. Now you first don't begin talk say, oh, let you give some bribe, unless you send some bribe, brown envelope. We as private sector actors or players, now we need for stand and see that ethics are being considered in the private sector space, but also accountability, and we try for see how we can kick corruption at the private sector space.
If this very, very important, Fambulen. We always dey talk about corruption in the public sector, but we can forget say we private sector players also get a role for play. How we get for manage that day, and the things they will get for do. Now another important topic in the future programs we will get for cover, and this program they focus on that private sector integrity. How we will ensure say there is some level of integrity in the private sector. Why important? Because if integrity dey in that procurement process, if level of playing field dey in that procurement process, it means say other people can able bid. But if we all dey bid no more, na one or two people no more, always they win the bid, they no more, they win the contract, they no more, na the country. It dey shrink the economic space, it dey shrink the private sector space. And that's na in can call in order ensure inclusivity, in bring all man inside. Women they don't go able compete because they get boku other thing them where they affect them. So it's very important, but follow we talk about inclusivity and private business integrity. However, time don't beat we. So I want let we close. But there is a question from a listener, Raphael. He said, this now for you, Raphael. You don't mention say access to finance now one of the challenges the private sector, and you also say governments are not today now the private sector. So the text that they say how you feel say the private sector go able for go if government support still low. So how the private sector will go without government support, and waiting government need for do more for make them support the private sector.
So we know they say well done. Nobody not talk say the private sector can exist or go thrive without government support. I don't mention a whole lot of things. Infrastructural development now a public sector activity than I don't know, but it go difficult for like you see a private sector player make road from Common Africa go Kailau. So now the government they come in infrastructural development, for example. What's in the advantage what they take? We just don't get the payment switch, for example. Then in a government donor thing where they don't create, how are businesses taking or private sector actors taking advantage of the government switch? Now they develop a policy, a national policy on the formalization of informal businesses. Now, you as Sidonia that will not register. When this go don't come into effect, how you take advantage of that policy day? Yeah? The National Investment Board, one-stop shop where any private sector can go and ask all of in questions and get them answered. That's an achievement and a government thing.
Maybe the text that they think about direct financial support to the private sector. How government waiting government need for do for make more money at the private sector, and maybe reduce interest rate and get more loan from banks and then things then they.
So this is it. Not to government role for reduce interest rate. Interest rate now a function of the operating costs of the financial institution. If me operating cost as a bank, for example, tell me say if I put me interest rate at 21%, I they run at a loss. I get bored for reports too. Me the MD. Let's assume say me na the MD. I get bored for reports too. Yeah? I get me shareholders them for reports too. No bank operates like that. So not a government in role. So if the only thing what government go do, it make the infrastructure right, so that private sector actor, let's say the bank, not spend too much on petrol. That private sector actor, for example, not people that not run away with their money and there is no justice. Because all that they affect the bottom line of the bank. So not to government enroll for fixed interest rates. Now, the interest rate now a function of the cost of operation of that financial institution. Dey. Now that make no two interest rate, no two bank or three bank not get the same interest rate.
All right. Thank you, Raphael. Like I say, Fambulen, time don't go. But this last question from this text are very important to we next program, where we dey look forward for invite government, the government, and let we understand what in government they do and how government they support the private sector. Texter, they encourage you for tuning next week again and listen to how government they support the private sector, whether not in access to finance or whether not infrastructure as Raphael say or any other way. And then we hope say that issue of government support will be clarified and we will ask the government people and hold them to account. We don't come to the end of this program. Members say the private sector are the engine of we economy. When we expand the private sector, when the private sector grow, me and you go grow. We go get more money than we earn. Government will get more money for invest in infrastructure and other public goods, and we livelihood and we living standards go improve. So I encourage we all. Let we all join hands together. Let we promote the growth of the private sector in silence. Till next week, me and Melvin Forey. At the thank you to we co-producer Kalma Mara and we guest Raphael Mara. For where you come join me for this program today. And we hope say next week you go join me as we look at how government support the private sector. Till next week. Tata.
Business not for just make money. Now the engine where they push the economy go before. From that businessman who will make them for sales to that entrepreneur where they do massive innovation where they shape the country in future. Kushe and Kabo now the big market. Also where they talk about business and how for make business go and change real life. Every week we get for the talk about the things that where they happen at the market, things that like waiting government they do, and how in they affect price, profits, and other things there, and we own safe life. Small business or big business or manufacturer or investor or farmer or all get for the inside the big market talk. So sit down, open ears, listen, and join we participate every Tuesday 5 p.m. na True Talk Radio 98.5 FM. Also with the build strong business for strong country.